The Environment Secretary was addressing an audience of building and design professionals, outlining the global issues of population growth and climate change against the need for sustainable development.
What does sustainable development really mean? It was Gro Harlem Brundtland who defined it, I think, very well indeed. She said, development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It's a definition that's echoed in the UK's Sustainable Development Strategy. And why does it matter in relation to climate change? Well, because climate change, if it takes hold in the way in which the scientists predict, and if we have dangerous climate change, you bet it is going to imperil the ability of future generations to meet their needs, because we would have handed a problem to our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. And the choice we face is a really simple one, actually. You know, either you look at the science, I'm not a scientist, but I read what the scientists say. Either you say, I get that, this is human caused, where can I play my part in doing something about it? And we're here because I think we think like that, not everybody does. Or we say, nah, I don't think it's happening, or it's not my responsibility, or I can't do anything, or it's somebody else's, I'm going home to shut the door and to close the curtains. Now, we've got a choice as human beings about what we're going to do. For those who do recognise we have a responsibility, what does this actually mean for us? Well, half of all CO2 emissions in Britain come from the built environment, from buildings and the streets around us. So that means that 1% of the global problem comes from towns and cities in the United Kingdom. That's the first fact, and that's a big responsibility on us. We also know that over half the people on this planet, the 6.2 billion of us, already live in urban areas. And towns and cities across the world account for 3/4 of all of the resources that are used, 3/4 of all of the waste produced. So it's clear that there is a great need and great potential to cut emissions in the way that we plan, the way we design, the way we build, the way we manage, the way we live in our urban areas. So in building new homes, let's start with homes. Our aim has got to ensure that they are both low carbon and ready for the challenge of climate change. And that's why we've worked with the industry to develop the Code on Sustainable Homes, the national standard for the design and construction. It's why we're doing our job as government to say what the rules are, to regulate. And we know that progress is possible. I mean, already a new home built today is 40% more energy efficient than one built before 2002, and 70% more energy efficient than one built before 1990. And if you said to people in 1990, nearly 20 years ago, we think we could make that improvement over the next 20 years, people might have said, well, I'm not entirely sure you'll be able to do it. We're doing it. We're in the process of showing what is possible. And we know that within a decade, every new home built will be zero carbon.
Having outlined the government's achievements in regulating new-built properties, Mr. Benn suggested ways owners could be persuaded to upgrade existing houses.
I think the next stage is a world in which someone will come and knock on your door and say, look, we can come and finance improvements to your house, and then this is how you can pay it back over time. It could be as part of your energy bill, and this is what you will be paying for energy if you don't, and this is what you'll be paying for energy if you do, and this is the cost of paying it back, or through a mortgage at the time that you sell and buy and move on, because we've got to make it easy for people, because only the really hardy and committed are going to go out and source those photovoltaic cells and the solar panels and the boilers and get it all fitted up. We've got to help people, we've got to help ourselves to change our existing housing stock. And the final point I want to make is about this. Government has a really important part to play, and I've set out some of the things that we are doing, and there are lots of others. The final thing I wanted to say to you was, do we need to move faster to answer the question? Yes, we do, because we have less time than we thought we had. What's working well? What are the barriers? What are the obstacles? What can the government do to help? What can you do to help? How can we do this together? I look forward to hearing your views. Thank you very much indeed.